Okay, so this question has given us a distance time graph, and what we've got to remember about distance time graphs are things like if you've got a line that's got a gradient bigger than 0, then it's talking about a constant speed. So if we've got distance and time, then the gradient is the distance divided by the time. Well, that's the same as the speed. So that would be representing constant speed. The steeper the gradient, the faster the speed. And if you've got a distance time graph and you've got a horizontal line, then that is talking about constant distance not moving. So in other words, you've stopped. So those are the key ideas that distance time graphs suggest we should be looking for. So it talks about a 1,000-metre race, and we've got 3 people running this race. The question says who won the race. So in other words, who got to 1,000 metres the first? Well, we've got 1,000 metres here, so that was the first person to reach 1,000 metres, so won the race. And that person was Ben. So Ben won, and first person to reach 1,000. So first person to travel 1,000 metres. Okay, so that was how we can interpret that information. So he won the race. Follow it through, we find it's Ben. This is telling us that Alan and Carl actually crossed the line together at the same time, and so forth. This line here is steeper than this line here, so it's showing us that at this stage Alan is running faster than what Ben was, and faster than what Carl was as well. So Carl ran the slowest at this stage, and then increased the speed, and at this stage both of these are running at the same speed, and Alan has slowed down. So lots of things happening here, and this bit here is showing that Alan actually stopped for a while before carrying on. So there's a variety of things we can do to interpret this question. The question says, for part B, describe the race. So in other words, we've got to use the graph to describe what's going on. And if you want 4 marks, it's worth 4 marks, that question. Then we're going to have to use all 3 names, and we have to talk about all 3 people. So, okay, so let's get going. It says describe the race. So the first thing I'm going to do is talk about who won the race, and the fact that Ben and Carl finished at the same time. It says 4 marks, so I want 4 points to be made. So Ben won the race with Alan and Carl finishing at the same time. Okay, so the second point, well, we can see that Alan had the greatest speed in the first 3 minutes. So again, we can talk about that because we have a steeper gradient. So we can say that Alan had a greater speed than both Ben and Carl for the first 3 minutes of the race. So that will give me the second mark. We can see that at 3 minutes Alan took a rest for a little while, and Ben slowed down, and Carl was still running at the same speed. So again, we can talk about what happened at 3 minutes. So at 3 minutes, Alan stopped for a rest, whilst Ben slows down and Carl keeps running at the same speed he started at. Okay, so that gives me 3 marks, and now I've got to look for a fourth comment, and again we can see that after 3.5 minutes, well actually we'll talk about what happened at 4 minutes. So at 4 minutes then we can say that Ben and Carl were running at the same speed because the gradients of the lines were the same, and Alan was running slower than both of them. So during the 4th to 4.5 minute of the race, Ben and Carl were running at the same speed whilst Alan was running slower than both of them. Okay, so there are lots of other comments that you could make, but you can actually calculate the speeds and so forth. But it says describe the race. It's worth 4 marks, so you need 4 key points. Again, always mentioning all 3 runners though, because it's about describing the race between the 3 of them. So those would be 4 acceptable answers to give you all 4 marks for that kind of question. So distance time graphs, again practice, think about what the parts of the graph mean, and when you're describing information then make sure that you're being very clear about all the people and not just talking about one person.